Hey, this is Pat, and today we're checking out the all-new LS2 Citation II helmet. Now, it's not very often that I get super excited about a helmet, but when I started working on and riding in this LS2 Citation II helmet, I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty stoked. When you're looking at this lid, it looks like every other sport-to-sport touring, maybe three-quarter helmet out there on the market, but it hides a lot of features that I think punch well above the $270 price point for the standard fiberglass model. Now, it does come in a carbon fiber model as well for $450, which I think looks fantastic, but if you are looking at a sub-$300 helmet, it's kind of hard to not take a glance at the Citation II, and I'll talk about why throughout this entire video, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm very excited about this lid. When you're looking at it straight up, like I said, $270, it is a fiberglass composite shell throughout, but the key part that I wanna really just nail home here is that it is 6 shell sizes across the entire range. Most helmets, especially in this price point, tend to have 2, 3, maybe even 4 shell sizes, but this is going up to 6, which we only see in the higher end helmets out there on the market. So I love that LS2 is really investing into this helmet. Again, when you have 6 different mold shapes and sizes, it tends to get very expensive to manufacture helmets. So I like they're adding 6 shells in here. The only shell size that shares throughout the entire extra small to 3 extra large range is that 2 extra large and 3 extra large size, which even there isn't going to be too much difference between the two on there. So keep that in mind. You are looking at 6 shell sizes, and you are getting a DOT and ECE 2206 safety rating. So they are tossing in the 2206 that everybody is after with their safety certs. And I love that they're actually bringing both into the US. We've seen other brands out there just come to market in the US with a DOT and not bring in the ECE 2206. So I love that they're adding that in here. But when you're looking at the weight, it's really nice. It's 3 pounds 7 ounces in a size medium. It's actually for the carbon and the regular version. So there's not any weight savings with the carbon fiber version. Again, going back to that 2206 safety rating, they added in so many impact tests and everything like that. The shells are redesigned to be a little bit heavier since the 2206 marker replaced the 2205. Internal shape on these is going to be intermediate oval, so it's a little bit longer front to back than it is side to side. I will say a little bit of extra space at the temples, which typically leans toward a round oval helmet, but not enough that I'd say if you are a round internal head shape that this would be something that's going to be comfortable for longer rides out there, but it is true to size. So if you're a medium in helmets like I am, a medium is going to fit you spot on with a little bit of extra space around the ears. So those of you out there that are a little bit more blessed in the ear region, you're not going to have anything that's going to cause your ears to curl over or anything like that. I like that they gave a lot of space at the side, just making and complementing the features in this helmet with a very comfortable helmet to wear, especially for someone like myself who rides about 2 hours to and from work each day. You're looking at having a very comfortable helmet for longer term rides out there. But let's start looking at the features, work our way through, see if this helmet is going to be right for your gear closet. Down at the front, you do have 2 vents up at the front. I like that they added 2 vents because the bottom one goes directly to the face. The top vent goes directly to the face shield. So you are getting something that's going to be anti-fog with getting that air flowing through there and getting a little bit more, but you can also send it straight to your face on hotter days so you can cool off inside of there. Right above that is going to be the release for the face shield. You just push in that button, lift it up on there. You can see it's a square shape in there that actually locks in a metal piece, much better than plastic ones that we've seen out there that can tend to snap. We look for a little bit more metal, just something a little bit more rigid. It does take a little bit of getting used to clip that in and actually find its place with a gloved hand and lift it up, but then the detents themselves are very sturdy. So if you are riding down the road and you want a little bit more ventilation coming through, you can crack the shield and it's not going to slam shut on you or anything like that. The shield itself is extremely flat. So you're looking at a flat, optically correct shield. It is pin lock ready and the pin lock is included in the box. Again, at $270, just punching very high above its weight class for the features and what's included in here. So I love that from LS2. I will say you can see at the side, really cool side design to the actual pivot system. You can see it's like a bunch of gears inside of there. I would have rather LS2 gone with a more traditional side thing. The more parts and the more pieces you add in there, the more they tend to fail over time. Not saying that this one's giving me any issues, just something to be aware of. If you do pick this up, you might want to keep an eye on that and just keep it clean of debris or anything like that so it doesn't get inside of there. But it does add into that sturdiness of the actual shield, and it is a quick release system so you can just pop it off if you need to. One thing I actually had it in the up position to also call out is you do get a dark smoke drop down sun visor. It's about 80 millimeters in length, which is very solid for, we've seen a lot of brands start going from like 60 to 70. A lot of them are now introducing 80 millimeters just to get full coverage so you don't have any spots coming underneath of it of sunlight or anything like that. You can go ahead and ride into the sun with no issues on this. And that mechanism is just down here on the bottom left of the shell, which is where most brands tend to add it in. Looking at the top of the helmet above the cheek pads, I will call out the 2 intake vents at the top, which are found with 2 little tabs that you can open and close. A little challenging to get these tabs open and closed with the gloves on. Takes a little bit getting used to. You will get used to it, but it's just smaller. You just need to remember where to find them when you're opening and closing them, although most riders are probably opening them and leaving it open for the entire ride, depending on the weather that you're riding in. You do get 2 exhaust vents in the rear as well. They are tucked in underneath of this little spoiler that's built in, just helping to pull out all that hot air and pull a Venturi effect out of it to suck out the hot air, and while you're getting more fresh air in the front of the helmet. So I like that they match that. Very sport overall shell. I think this is ideal for sport riders out there, commuters, maybe even touring riders and someone in a 3/4 riding position, a little bit more comfortable. It's going to be good in either position regardless of where your head tends to land on the bike when you're actually in the riding position. Looking at the sides, one thing I want to call out too is just a clean area that you can add in a comm system. You can clamp it on the shell. You can add an adhesive over there just over top of the LS2 logo. Just a nice clean sides and really just clean design to the overall shell. But once we get to the interior, that's where I think LS2 did a great job. The interior material is very comfortable, something that doesn't feel restrictive or anything like that. You have emergency release pulls to get these off. Don't use those emergency release tabs when you're just trying to clean the helmet or just take the cheek pads out. They are really designed just in emergencies because it can snap the tabs, but it's really ideal for EMS or anybody who's trying to get the helmet off of you in the event of an accident. You just want to have that on there, and they do add reflective into the base of the cheek pads too, but you can see that contour to the actual cheek pads, really solid, something that's going to hug up against your head and be very comfortable, like I said, for longer term riding, something I experienced while I was commuting in. It's just very comfortable when you're on the highway and just ripping around. It does come with a removable chin curtain if you want to pop that off. I'm not someone who really tends to run a chin curtain just because I don't need the extra blocking of air, but I like that they have it on there for those out there riding in colder climates. You can go ahead and pop that off if you want to, and I'll just take it off real quick. You can see it's just 4 tabs that actually connect it up to the helmet itself. Now, I didn't mention it at the beginning, but I will talk about it. It is a micro ratchet system inside of it, something that can easily find its home, very quick to use. I'm more of a double D-ring guy myself. I like the ease and just the practicality of it. But I will say one thing that they added in there is a quick release tab, so you can easily pull up on this magnetic tab, which goes ahead and releases the micro ratchet. It kind of adds another step into the equation, but what I like about it is that it was able to move the micro ratchet from right in front of your neck to a little bit more off to the side just by tucking that into the side liner of the strap itself. So all you do is pull up on that and it immediately releases. Really cool little nifty thing. Again, it adds a little step into there, but for comfort, it's nice to see. Top liner is pretty basic. You have 2 snaps at the rear and a brow mount up front. We love seeing brow mounts just because it removes 2 snaps at the forehead that can cause pressure points. Going to a brow mount just eliminates that from being a factor in the entire equation. Decent channels inside the helmet for airflow, so it's going to flow air front to back very easily. And you can see it does have speaker pockets inside there. I measured them around 45 millimeters, so it fit most of the biggest speakers out there on the market from Cardo and Senna, whoever you're adding in there. I like that they have that speaker cutout just to match the sizes of most speakers in there. But again, decent channels to help really accent all the airflow that I talked about in the beginning and help that air flow through the helmet and out of the back. And honestly, apart from the fact that it is a micro ratchet and I'm more of a double D-ring guy, I think this is a really solid helmet out there on the market. One that has a nice Hawks build to it, so it's not going to hinder your shoulders. Very comfortable interior, 6 shell sizes. Again, I cannot emphasize enough how rare that is, especially at this price point. So if you are shopping for a sub $300 helmet, I think you should really consider the LS2 Citation II, especially if you're okay with a micro ratchet closure system. But if you have more questions about this helmet, click that info button. It's going to take you over to the product page where you can read other rider reviews. Don't just take my word for it. See what other riders are saying about this one. And if you still have questions after that, if you're trying to figure out which LS2 helmet is right for you or which size is right for you within the line, or if it's going to fit with your internal head shape, give our customer service agents a call. They're all riders, happy to help you get set up for your next ride. I want to thank you for joining me and checking out the all-new LS2 Citation II helmet. I'm Pat. I'll see you in the next video.